The very first thing you're going to do when you sit down is we are going to take care of the iris and the white of the eyes. I want to do that so that you can kind of see where you are in your face as you continue. So let's say that you have blue eyes. That means the iris is blue. So I'm going to take this pastel and I'm just going to rub on here until it's filled up. Now, if I start to see a lot of powder, I don't know if you can see that, that's okay, but we don't want to grind the pastel into the paper. You're going to know you're okay if, when you massage the color, if it ends up covering up the purple adequately, that means you did just fine. Man, that is laser focused right now. That means you did great. If you have leftover powder, we will never ever blow that onto our neighbor. We'll just turn our paper sideways and go tap, tap. The dust will come off and we're gonna move on. I'm gonna return this back to my color wheel so that things don't get mixed up. And believe it or not, the ones in the center are white. They're not gonna look white because your fingers get so dirty throughout the day that it starts to turn the outside of it dark. But you'll just remember that you have white, and when you're like, where am I supposed to return this to the color wheel? Remember, it's in the center, okay? Because white is the absence of all color. It's pure white light. That's why it's not on the color wheel. Stick it right there. I'm gonna massage this in. Now the rest of our shapes are going to be filled in with what we call analogous colors. We want for it to have a really cool effect like Sandra's Silberzweig would do. And so I'm going to be showing that to you in just a second. But before I do, I want you to show you what I mean by sections. When you did the glue, you basically created shapes. If you look here, this nose creates this weirdo L thing with the L that's going where over here. You have a shape here. That's a kind of a big one. It even has a flower in the center, but you would avoid that. You would be coloring in this whole shape. Maybe you would be coloring in this whole shape, or this shape, or this shape, kind of like a football with a hole in the middle, an eyeball in the center. You might be doing this shape. So I'm going to show you what I mean by analogous colors, and then we're going to come back and begin. Boys and girls, we're going to begin today having a little review of our color wheel. You can see we have our primary colors red, blue, and yellow. Blue and yellow were mixed to make the secondary green. Blue and red were mixed together to make the secondary color violet. And red and yellow were mixed together to make the secondary color orange. Red and orange, crazy, called red-orange, mixed together to make a tertiary. You know about our tertiaries, so I'm going to move on. Today we're using chalk pastels, and for each one of our primaries, secondaries, and tertiaries, I actually have pastels that match it pretty well. In fact, I have a few extra blue colors here as well that you're going to enjoy. We're going to want to keep our pastel color wheel as neat as possible, because as you work throughout the day or through this hour, if you keep taking the pastels off to the side and not returning them, it starts to get frustrating to know where you are. So every once in a while I'm going to yell out, color wheel cleanup, and everyone's going to go and put it back together, and then we'll continue. Now today we're going to be talking about using analogous colors, which means if you want to color in a section, you're going to choose 3 colors that are analogous, meaning that are near each other on the color wheel. So let's say that you have a section that you wanted to have yellow. You would set aside the yellow, but then you would also take a yellow green and you would take a yellow orange. When you were done with them, you would return them to where they came from. If you wanted to do something in purple or violet, you would set that aside, but you would also take a red violet and a blue. These are called analogous colors because they are near each other on the color wheel. Now I'm going to show you how we're going to put that into action. I already have one started here, and you'll probably be able to see that I've been using analogous colors. Here I used orange, red-orange going into red. Here I used blue going into purple or violet, going into red violet. On the nose here, I used yellow going into yellow green, going into green. I even went back and went into my eyeball and colored, since I had green eyes, I had chosen one green, but after I learned about blending, I went and added a little bit of yellow green as well. I'm going to explain to you how we're going to be doing this today, and I'm going to show you by beginning in this space right here. So if I decide that I want my nose to be, let's say, green, that means I'm going to pull out my green, and I'm going to pull out the two colors next to it on the color wheel, this green and the yellow. So I can start with the yellow, and when I do, I'm just going to go like this, and we'll be coming around kind of giving you advice on if you're doing it too hard or too much or not enough. This is not enough. Going, oh, too much, too much. Now, once you finish a space, it would probably be wise for you to take it and return it to the color wheel right away. You're going to take your finger and you're going to massage it. You're not going to wait till the other colors are on. You're going to take care of this one first, okay? You can even clean off a little bit off your black lines if you like. Now what I'm doing is taking my green, and I'm going to go a little bit further into my shape. So when you have a shape, you kind of have to look at how long is it, how big is it, and how far are you going to go. Some of you may even want to repeat it, but we'll hold off on that for now. So now I'm massaging my green. And when I'm finished, I'm just going to do just a little bit of a blendy. So it kind of looks like it's going from one color to the next. I'm going to take this, put it back. Now I'm going to take my darker green. I'm going to fill in the last part of my shape. Now, let's say that you're this far and you still have more space to go. You could do the whole thing green, or let me show you what you could do. First, I'm going to finish blending this. Once I've done the one color, I'll go back and do just a little bit of blendy. Notice I'm not going. You all know what's going to happen if you do that. Now, what I could do is go crazy and go into the next one. So maybe I would do a little bit of blue-green. I also could have gone back and done the yellow-green. So I finish that. I return it. Blendy. And that space is now finished. Very, very cool. I may decide that I want to use the opposite side to color in right next to it. When you do something the opposite, it's gonna pop, okay? So let's try it. If I'm gonna put this right here, let's say I take an orange, a red orange, and a red. Then that means I'm gonna color this in orange. Because I use this one for my green, maybe I'll use this finger. So I'm going to go like that. Now I'm going to color in this. And go like that. I'll take this one. I'm feeling the need to do a tap. You are going to continue to work your way around your face. What's going to happen is after a while, you're going to be sick of reaching over here. You might even have some things that you've colored here, and when you reach over, you're going to get your sleeve in it. That's why when I work, I like to work sideways. Then I can reach everything really easily. I can work on this side, or let's pretend I'm working on this side, And then when I need to work on this side, I'm just going to turn it around so now this is close to me. It works kind of nice. Now here's one that I've already been working on, and I want you to notice what we're going to be doing later. That later, once all your sections are filled in, this is when you're going to start to get to add the features that are individual to you. For instance, I put that pattern there to pretend that I was into baseball. That's a lie, but it reminded me of the sewing on a baseball. So it doesn't have to be red and white. It's just a little hint that you're adding a pattern that is related to something that you like. Here, I could say, oh, I really love nature, so I put leaves on. But that is not happening right now. Your goal is to finish coloring in your face. It's going to take a while. I'm gonna now time lapse as I work, and then you're gonna get started.